Hey, howdy, hey, my friends, and welcome back or welcome here for the first time. If you don't know, my name is Nicole. Welcome to the VML. This is Venus and Mercury League. For those of you who don't know what the Venus and Mercury League are, we are a weekly league showcasing the talents of people of marginalized genders within the magic community. My name is Nicole Callahan, also known as Lady of the Crease on Twitter, and I'm joined here by the lovely Becky Bell, known as Becky Bear on Twitter. Yes, so we are kicking off season 4 here tonight. So excited. Same deal as last season. We have 64 players total. There's 8 divisions. Play is done in a round robin for 7 weeks before we cut off to a playoff of the top 24. As you know, this is week number 1. So real big week here. A lot of new VMLers, a lot of vets making their trying to come back here. We have a defending champion maybe on tonight. But Becky, how have you been? How's the break?
I've been good. Break was, holidays, lots of crazy stuff. I mean, as if the world wasn't already crazy enough. More crazy things, but we're here to play Magic and kind of forget about the woes and worries of the world and just focus on having some good old standard content.
Yeah, we're here to crush. We're here to send someone to the Kaldheim Championship weekend when all of this is said and done. We have a very nice prize pool. By the way, big announcement this season, we are being joined by the Nerd Rage Gaming series. So a big thank you to Nerd Rage Gaming for making season 4 possible. They are working close with us. We actually have Max as our in-house judge this season, and Max is phenomenal. We are so please, if you haven't checked them out yet, make sure you check them out on Twitter. NRG series, they are phenomenal. So big ups to them, big thanks to them. And again, CFB putting back into the prize pool as well. So a lot of love from our community for our little tournament here. So.
Yeah, it's really nice to have cared about this for so long and also see your community start to. Maybe I shouldn't say start to care about it. I'm sure a lot of these people cared about this thing from the start as well, but it's nice to see them be like, "Oh, this thing actually exists and we can help out with it." My dog
It's
just
like the discovery, it's great. Speaking of announcements, we have a big announcement to make right here, right now for our casting team. Now, obviously, Becky and I have returned, and the lovely Hayu Yu, also known as Nefet on Twitter, and Caroline Kavanagh, the Mighty Linguini on Twitter. Oh, sorry, Mighty Linguini on Twitter. No, the on Twitter. They are back for season 4 as well, but we have a couple of new additions here. I see Sky Bills and Elia the Veil. Fantastic. And we actually found out when they joined the team that they have known each other for years. They actually started going to the same LGS together. So a match made in heaven, and we are so happy to have them. Welcome to the team. You'll be looking for them. I believe they are doing week 3 coverage. So as not to miss them, or obviously not to miss Hayu or Caroline either. Make sure you're following us here, Aspirant CCG, on here and on Twitter. So that is a beautiful slide. Look at all those beautiful faces. Gotta love it.
gorgeous. Mwah.
Speaking of beautiful slides, how about we look at this metagame?
Ooh, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of the metagame. I mean, I make this slide every single week, so I wouldn't offer to do this if I wasn't a big fan of looking at a metagame. Go for it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so excited because there's more than like 3 colors on it.
Yeah.
I'm so happy. This is the kind of pie I want. I want the multicolored. I want not just to be like, oh, red, green, blue, we're good. Like I want yellow and green and purple and blue and orange, and it's all in there.
Yeah, we've got quite a nice spread of decks as well. We have a pretty good spread of just one of decks, so people bringing their own kind of spicy strategies to the table, as well as just obviously our big most of the field being Gruul Adventures / aggro. Kind of whatever you want to call it, but most people seem to be playing still Edgewalling Keeper, so I'm still inclined to call it Gruul Adventures, as that is kind of one of the basic strategies of the deck, though it is still playing things like Brushfire Elemental and Kazandu Mammoth, so still also going into a lot of landfall strategies to have a more aggressive slant. Dimir Rogues is kind of staying in popularity as well as the second biggest deck. Then we've got just some other kind of mainstays that have been staying around since Omnath has come and gone. Even like the Doom Foretold deck has been around for a long time and has kind of ebbed and flowed in popularity and is starting to kind of, I think, gain in popularity because it's quite good against some of the Gruul Adventure strategies. Though now that the adventure strategies are going into a lot of artifact and enchantment destruction, both in the main board and the sideboard, we might see the Doom Foretold decks kind of fall off a little bit. But then we've got some Team Ramp, some Mono Green Food, just a lot of good, a lot of have been around for a while, and it's nice to see this array of different strategies. Even in the other category, we had like 3 Jund decks and 3 blue-black control decks and 3 Yorion Blink decks. So we're seeing a lot of, even though they're technically in the other category and not really talked about, there are still plenty of people who are on kind of the same sort of style of deck, and we're seeing a nice spread of different strategies being employed into this week of standard.
Yes, and considering this is week 1 of the VML, we have little to no information about who you're playing against in week 1 and what your opponent's going to bring, unless they have like a standard deck that you like, they always play this.
You could go look at some of these players' streams and be like, what are they going to register? But for the most part, when we play these decks, we're doing open deck lists, so we're able to go back and look at our opponent's decks from previous weeks and be able to kind of change what we might play to try and beat up on what our opponents are going to do. But you don't get to do that in week 1. You're kind of just making your best judgment call as far as the metagame goes, maybe looking at their stream if they have a stream. Maybe you're not. Maybe you're just trash talking each other on Twitter as well and just trying to like get the kind of verbose upper hand.
Yes, I did see some good Twitter VML trash talk this week. So that was lovely.
Quite an interesting thing being employed in this season, but I'm always a fan of a little bit of trash talk that's all in good fun.
Yes, exactly. So speaking of trash talk, why don't we get into our first match here?
Let's get into it.
I'm so excited.
All right, so first we have Hallie. She will be playing Teamer Ramp. This is kind of an old strategy that was very popular, and basically this is the Omnath deck without Omnath in a lot of ways, and without the white mana. So it's kind of interesting to see that this deck did actually stick around, and now it's just using things like Terror of the Peaks and kind of having a combo finish sort of strategy.
Yes. Actually, Teamer Ramp was my deck of choice for some time, and depending on what you're playing against, it can absolutely crush certain decks that can't stop things like a Genesis ultimatum, but it crumbles pretty easily to anything that has some sort of disruption and counter spells and things like that. But I absolutely love Obosh. I actually really like the Spike Field Hazards in this deck because it can't play the Shatter Skull Smashing, and everybody's very high on Shatter Skull Smashing right now, but this deck is playing Spike Field Hazard because of the Obosh in the sideboard. But I absolutely love it. Hallie is a VML vet. This is not their first rodeo here. And you can see on the side there, she said that she is looking forward to keeping the gathering in Magic here in the VML, looking forward to testing and chatting because we are a community here at the VML, and that's something that we like to harbor and nurture is the gathering. And also her favorite interaction in Magic is brainstorm and fetch lands. Your thoughts on those, Becky?
That's just a classic. I don't know. I don't have anything wrong with that. I think that that's one of the like backbones, cornerstones of Magic is brainstorm plus fetch. Like that's one of just the things that like I can tell that you like some nice like good Magic, but not like something that I think is broken in Magic. So I'm always a fan of somebody who's into a good old brainstorm fetch.
Yes, and I think that would be Hallie. So let's take a look at her opponent this week. She is playing against Ashlizzle. Ashlizzle. I like it.
Sorry if we mispronounce people's names. First time we're saying most of these names. We're doing our best.
But Ash is playing an Orzhov aggro deck that is pretty sweet. It's not
Oh, I'm
really
so
like anything I've
excited.
seen. I am very excited for this deck. I want to see how this works out. Some of the cards to watch here: we have Maul of Skyclaves, we have Duress, which will be very important in the sideboard, as I said earlier. Without the ability to counter any sort of Genesis Ultimatum, need to be able to get it out of your hand before you can cast it. And a card like Season Hallowblade, which hopefully will be able to get across, do enough damage to end the game before we even get to a Genesis Ultimatum here. Are there any cards that stand out to you?
I mean, I'm most excited for Maul of the Skyclaves. That's like a card when it got spoiled. I was very excited to like see it in existence. But when I was actually looking up all of the decks, Ash Lizzle had actually named her deck Orzhov Maul. And I was like, I'd had it like just open in a tab because when I'm doing my metagame recording, I just go through every division, right click, open in a new tab, and just like kind of read across the top as to what people named their decks. And if I'm like a little confused about what they named, then I go like look in. And so I like read it in a tab and I was like, Maul, please be Maul of the Skyclaves. And I was just like so excited for a deck that was going to revolve around Maul of the Skyclaves. So that very easily what I'm most excited for is that card.
Yes,
I do love that she mentioned that her favorite interaction is sacrificing #unban cat. I had a lot of fun sacrificing some cats, putting some cats in some ovens.
So we're dropping the brainstorm fetch lands and we're picking up unbanned cat. Is that how?
If I could do both in a deck, I'd be very happy. Just give me some legacy deck that's somehow playing cat oven and brainstorm and fetch lands, and I'll be stoked.
Yeah, so I'm definitely looking very much forward to seeing this deck performs. She said that it was a brew that she had wanted to try out in a competitive environment, and the VML is perfect for that since you get to submit a new deck list every week if you wish. So this is a really cool like take because your opponent, they might think you're going to bring rogues or anything. I'm sure this was not on Haley's radar. So,
it wouldn't have ever been on mine. So I'm ready to just dive right into it and see how this shakes up.
Do it. Hallie versus Ash Lizzle. We've got Teamer Ramp versus Orzhov Maul of Skyclaves. We will be watching from Hallie's side. That is the Teamer Ramp deck. It looks like start with a 7. Oh no, that 7 didn't have any green, and now we're looking at tap lands. Oh my goodness, and only one.
All right, well, this one definitely seems like a good hand.
Yes, this is much more reasonable. We got 4 lands, a Brazen Borrower, a Bone Crusher Giant, and a Genesis Ultimatum. We're going to ship back the 7-mana spell, and probably one of the lands. It's just a matter of which one. It looks like Fabled Passage is going to go back. We're going to start with the Crag Crown Pathway, and pass of the turn. Ash Lizzle, I believe, kept 7. So we're looking at a Selfless Savior coming down on Ash Lizzle's side.
Good doggo.
Good doggo indeed. Lovestruck Beast the draw on Hallie's side. Holding up that stomp, passing back. The puppy is going to come in for 1. Before it can, it's going to get stomped.
Rest in peace. Little pupper, you were a good boy.
All right, and then we've got a Skyclave Shade. Fancy art Skyclave Shade.
And the Spikefield Hazard off the top feels quite nice, even though our last card off the top didn't feel quite so nice, as it maybe made me feel a little bit of a sting in my stomach from not keeping the Fabled Passage to get us a green. Based on the first hand that we threw back that didn't have any green, it felt like Hallie was thinking that it was important for her to have green mana, but then decided to put back the Fabled Passage and keep only green and blue or red and blue in the form of the Crag Crown Pathway.
That is one of the toughest things with this Albash Teamer Ramp deck is the mana base. You have to have an exact perfect 7 colors in order to cast that Genesis Ultimatum. So, speak of the devil.
But that's not really what we wanted to draw right now, is it?
No, that is not what Hallie wanted to see, unfortunately. But a pass of the turn back, and we've got a Bone Crusher Giant staring down a Skyclave Shade. Skyclave Shade measuring up very nicely against that Bone Crusher.
Quite. So if you're Hallie and you're on turn 4 now, of this matchup, and your opponent is supposed to be on a kind of an aggressive strategy, and you're still at 20 life. How are you feeling at this point?
See, I'd be feeling pretty good. I'm also wondering what Ash Slizzle has in their hand, and we see a Null Priest of Oblivion come down here. Perhaps like waiting for double spells. It's kind of like early on. Ash Slizzle has been able to do something every turn, so it doesn't mean that she's in the clear quite yet. Hallie needs to draw some lands, especially green ones.
Yes.
But I feel like this could be frustrating for both sides. Oh, but there we go. The namesake
We
of the
have
deck.
it. The Maul.
Maul
I'm
of the
so
Sky.
excited. And it's coming down onto the Null Priest of Oblivion. And we're going to see a good use of this Petty Theft, the first part of Brazen Borrower.
Yes, a Brazen Borrower will bounce that Null Priest back to hand, and a second Brazen Borrower, the draw for turn there. So we've got one on an adventure, one in hand. Wait and see if we will Petty Theft something else away here.
Yeah, we are quite choked on lands, especially green lands again. At least we're drawing some amount of cards that we can actually play and staying at a relatively healthy life total, though at some point we're going to have to draw lands. We're going to have to dig ourselves out of this hole, or it's just going to be too much.
All right, we see a Skyclave apparition. The play for turn here is going to take care of that Bone Crusher Giant. We're going to play a Brazen Borrower just as a flying attacker because Ash Slizzle is at 12. So that life
this
total.
could potentially go being an aggro on aggro race.
Yes. We do have that other Petty Theft hanging. Now, usually the Teamer ramp deck just wants to stay alive long enough to cast their spells. They kind of want their opponent to durdle a little bit. And even though Ash has mostly been spinning her wheels, Hallie hasn't been able to take advantage of that by not drawing any lands. We'll see.
Yeah, if we had the perfect 7 for this Teamer ramp deck, we would have had a field day. But I think that's any ramp deck in game 1. All right, we are stomping the Skyclave Apparition, getting us a 3/3 in exchange for exiling our Bone Crusher Giant. Oh, well.
Oh, no.
Blood Chief's Thirst, a great interaction with whatever we take from Skyclave Apparition, being able to destroy any size token as they have a converted mana cost of 0.
See, now if I was Hallie last turn, I'd have been nervous that Ash's play was not just to equip them all the Skyclaves and attack. So we knew that she had something rolled up here, a couple of removal spells later, and oh, look, it's a Triome.
We finally have green mana. But as suggested earlier, it is possibly too little too late, especially with the hasty Rankle on the stack. We will see Hallie scoop it up.
All right, and now we're
okay. I was so scared. I was like, there's only 7 cards in this sideboard.
So Arena does this funny thing when you have Companion. If you don't unclick the little Companion button, it will not show you the uncompanionable like sideboard cards, the cards that will not work.
I guess I've never experienced that before.
Yes, so cards in the sideboard like the Akron War, which costs 4, will not show if you have Obosh in the companion slot and you have your little companion button pushed. So we're good. We're going to move on. And Haley.
Yeah, I learned. I did have a mini heart attack for a second, but good to know that there are actually 15 cards in Hallie's sideboard.
Yes, Hallie. Yes, Hallie, in fact, has 2 Ugin the Spirit Dragons, 2 Ox of Agonis, 2 Akron War, 4 Mystical Dispute, and 4 Scorching Dragonfire here. We could see that the Scorching Dragonfires, at the very least, did come in.
Do you want to quickly go over Ashlizzle's?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Sideboard, since we didn't get to see it.
Yeah, we have 1 Seed of Life's Bounty, 3 Cling to Dust, 3 Duress, 1 Agonizing Remorse, 2 Dire Tactics, 1 Heartless Act, 2 Heliod's Intervention, and 2 Murderous Riders in the sideboard there.
Okay, so we definitely think that the Duresses and Agonizing Remorses came in, especially the Agonizing Remorse. At least those are able to take out Terror of the Peaks from the hand as well.
Yes, those are definitely the big cards on Hallie's side. Hallie hoping to draw a land here again in game 2.
Man, I had this problem with even just my Gruul deck all this week, and I think it's one of the like possibly faults of like spell lands, and it could be also a fault of me of not having played a ton of Magic recently. Learning how to play with the spell lands and when to use it as to save it as a spell and when to just like use it as a land is kind of hard for people like me who maybe aren't playing 24/7 and don't know every single situation possible that could arise. And it's like, how do you decide when you want to play something as a land and when as a spell? Because pretty much every single time it felt like I was playing mine as lands because I just wasn't drawing lands because I'm playing fewer lands because I'm playing spell lands.
Yes, and I think that that's actually one of the extra things about playing. Like I said, even though I love Spikefield Hazard, I love that Hallie's playing Spikefield Hazard. Even though she cannot play Shadow Skull Smashing. Shadow Skull Smashing, even if you screw up and you're like, I should have played Shadow Skull as a land, you could just do it and pay 3 life. And it's like, well, I made a mistake. I'm paying 3 life. So be it. With something like Spikefield Hazard, you can't go, oh man, I should have just played this as a land, because then it's just coming in tapped and then you feel really bad. So it's definitely a big question in a lot of decks how to do it. So, all right, we've got Scorching Dragonfire to take care of the Alseid, but Alseid sacking to itself beforehand.
Bone Crusher Giant attempting to be used on Alseid,
sorry,
which is even better for Alseid to be sacking.
I'm staring at the 3 Scorching Dragonfires.
Yeah, I got you. No, my brain does that all the time too. I look at something and I say what I'm looking at, and not what I'm actually thinking or planning to say. I do that all the time.
There are few better feelings than fizzling your opponent's Bone Crusher Giant. Oh, here we go. Hallie has 3rd land and draws Cultivate.
My favorite card in all of Standard.
Now we're going to take a look through. It looks like Hallie's going to take a mountain and another mountain. So and put one of them on the battlefield, one into the hand, play a land.
We need red mana.
And look at that. And now we're back. Not constrained on mana so much anymore. Luminous Broodnoth from Ash here.
Look at that pretty moth going across the screen.
And I got a Selfless Savior here as well. Ugin, the draw for turn on Hallie's side. We have 5 lands in play. We got a Lovestruck Beast out there on an adventure. Checking out the Luminous Broodnoth, seeing how it will work with Selfless Savior. Selfless Savior can obviously sack to give Luminous Broodnoth indestructible, and then Luminous Broodnoth would come back as a flying doggo.
The doggo and its best friend, the moth. Yes. Wow. I love that interaction. I also love Luminous Broodnoth. I was like very excited about Luminous Broodnoth since it was spoiled. But Dire Tactics, taking care of the Terror of the Peaks.
Yes, and Luminous Broodnoth now able to get in for 3, bringing Hallie down to 17. We've got Ash at a perilous 9 life already, though, here. Even though has the board, there's a Genesis Ultimatum and an Ugin just waiting to take over here. A few choices on Hallie's side. Looks like she's going to go for a Lovestruck Beast. Let's see if there's going to be a follow-up play.
Keeping the ground safe. We are 1 lucky mana draw away from casting Genesis Ultimatum. That's something to watch out for. And it's totally possible that we won't even crack this Fabled Passage on the chance that we draw an untapped source of one of the other colors, and we're looking for one of the colors that we're missing to cast this Genesis Ultimatum. Though I think we have enough dual land / a Triome that might not be a concern. Technically, that is, yeah. But just to be safe, It never hurts to be safe. Also, we have no reason to crack this right now.
Yeah, we're good. We just don't want a red.
Yeah.
Anything that we draw, as long as it's not red, we're good.
But we did take both of the red lands left out of our deck. We only play 2 mountains, and we got both of them off the Cultivate. So kind of a heads-up early play on Hallie's side as well. We will see this Fabled Passage. I could be wrong. Maybe she has a 3rd one, but I'm pretty sure I only saw 2.
It is only 2. You are correct. That is fabulous. And we have a Triumph, so it's our 7th land. It's a little slow, though. The Seasoned Hollow Blade and a Skyclave Apparition post-combat to take care of the Lovestruck Beast for now. We've got a Brazen Borrower in the wings, triple Scorching Dragonfire, the Ugin, and the Genesis Ultimatum.
Yeah, we can bring down some hail of Scorching Dragonfires here on this turn. We almost have enough to cast all 3 of them, but Doesn't look like we quite have enough to... Oh, we can cast all three of them. Yeah, so we can just go Scorching Dragon Firing as much as we possibly could this turn.
Yes. Everything would come back as a flying token, but
it exiles with Scorching
it does
Dragon
with
Fire.
fire. You are correct. It would not come back as a token. No flying tokens for them.
That feels good. Because that would scare me the most about this Broodmoth is things coming back. But nice wording on Scorching Dragonfire. We're gonna see if we can get Ashlizzle to discard some things off this Seasoned Howlblade, perhaps.
We'll see.
What are we firing? Fire it up.
Thinking about it. Hallie is ready with that Scorching Dragonfire as soon as.
But I think she might be thinking I should wait until Ashlizzle will discard a card. She has 4 cards in hand. Oh, okay, never mind. We won't almost certainly discard a card to keep it indestructible.
Letting a little bit of damage through there. Gonna take 5, drop down to 9. The princess token's gone away. And we'll see what Ash's follow-up play is here. Plenty of open mana. We know that there's a Luminous Broodmoth in hand. Let's see.
Yeah, very patient on the side of Hallie to take the damage there and not fire these off quite yet. We are, again, still stayed at a healthy life total throughout most of this game as we've drawn a lot of our removal spells that we sideboarded into.
Yes. Got both players at 9. It looks like, considering an end of turn Scorching Dragonfire here from Hallie to take care of that Selfless Savior. We'll see what Ash decides to do here. All right. Gonna sack and Scorching Dragonfire the Broodmoth. And once more.
Make sure that the Broodmoth is exiled. The Savior is coming back with flying, but not much more. And we get to play a Genesis Ultimatum this turn.
Yeah, let's see.
Exciting. And we get to peek at the top card to make sure that it's either something that we either want or don't want with this Genesis Ultimatum.
I don't know. Would you consider Brazen Borrower a hit for this Genesis Ultimatum?
I would personally, I would bottom it. I want bigger things than that, but I like to go for big things.
I mean, we do have Ugin most likely coming down next turn, or another Genesis Ultimatum. So depends on how much you like to gamble, I suppose.
No, I usually like to go for the sure thing if I have the option to. So I'd probably be playing the Ugin next turn, though it is always a little exciting to play ultimatums. It depends on the stakes of the match. If I'm on ladder, I play the ultimatum every time. That card's way more fun.
Now it looks like Dire Taxes is going to take care of the Brazen Borrower on Hallie's side, except Seasoned Howlblade in play this time, so no life lost on Ash's side. Luminous Broodmoth, the second one that we knew about in hand, came down here. We've got Seasoned Howlblade and Selfless Savior both getting in the red zone, bringing Hallie down to 5. Pass of the turn back, and let's see what we're going to do here. Ugin?
we have to do Ugin or we're dead. Let's go. Slam this dragon.
Let's see it. Ugin minus 4.
Bye-bye. Give me
I like the confidence. I always triple check. Like, I would have been looking at Luminous Broodmoth like 6 times and be like, it's 4. Okay.
4, it's not 5 minutes. 4? Yeah.
Right? Okay. I'm just I like the confidence.
4 mana.
And look at that. We get our 1/1 princess back, and we got a 3/3 off of the Skyclave apparition.
And so we have an Ugin. You could not ask for more.
Oh yeah, and an Ugin too, I suppose. That was a very, very well played, very well done on Hallie's side.
Now we will see how Ashlizzle will respond. Taking a moment on Ashlizzle to breathe after losing her entire board.
Yes. So Heartless Act will take care of that 3/3 end of turn on Hallie's turn before passing back to Ash. And let's see. Bloodchief's Thirst will take care of Ugin. And we have a lone princess on the battlefield again and a Skyclave Shade from Ash's side. So, but Counting up our lands.
Yeah. Thank you for the raid of 46, Jarvis Hugh. Thanks so much for hanging out with us, everybody, and welcome to the VML.
Jarvis, thank you so much. Never forget
We have a dragon. Another dragon. We had a dragon last turn, but this is a different dragon.
This is a different dragon. This is a much different dragon. And we're checking out what we can do here. Terror of the Peaks was enough. Let's check out our sideboarding again here. Looks like Shaving an Edgewall Innkeeper, actually taking out the Spikefield Hazards as well here.
Yeah.
Surprising to me.
Yeah, that seems interesting to me as well. Maybe Hallie is just worried that there are too many, all of the 1 toughness creatures get indestructible other than Skyclave Shade, Seasoned Hallowblade, the dog. They either sacrifice to give other things indestructible or get indestructible. Alseid of Life's Bounty also. So she's probably just concerned that the Spikefield Hazards aren't ever going to be as powerful as she wants them to be and would rather have other spells that are more value.
That's fine. I was partly thinking of it also as a mana source. So you know.
See, this is my problem. Is I was talking about this earlier. That's what I always forget, and I'm just like, I don't like these spells. We take them out, and then I'm like, why won't I draw lands?
All right. Well, doesn't look like either player missing land drops here. We've got a Seasoned Hallowblade on Ash's side, and a Fistful of Spells on Hallie's side as well. Selfless Savior from Ash's side, so we can double make this Hallowblade indestructible if we wanted to. Gonna Stomp in response. Ash going to discard a Skyclave Shade here. And look at that.
Ooh,
look at the synergy.
That's just good deck building.
Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that beautiful? Oh. And now Ash, it's turn 3. Ash has 7 power in play. Hallie has yet to really ramp or do anything too.
That was a beating. I'm hurt.
So big turn
Somebody
here.
Somebody to me on ladder. I scoop. Oh my goodness. Let's see. Okay. Sorry. Now I'm just I'm like bringing myself back and I'm like, okay, Hallie, how do we get out of this? Let's figure this out.
Looks like Cultivate. Got to stay on the main plan. Going to take a lot of damage on this next turn, but can't give up the main thing. Got to get to 7 lands. Need to start casting these Terror of the Peaks. Need to cast these ultimatums. Need to get there to that point. And just doing something like casting a Bone Crusher Giant, probably not going to be enough, but Ash is pouring it on. We see a Woe Strider and an Alseid of Life's Bounty joining the party on Ash's side. Ash going down to 13 here, and we're looking at 11 more damage on the side of Ash. Going to be coming across next turn unless Hallie can prevent some of this. Beanstalk Giant going to cast Fertile Footsteps, find a land, cast the Bone Crusher Giant. Looks like we will be up to 7 mana next turn. Question is, will it be enough?
We would have to find exactly Ugin off of this if we want any hope of kind of surviving.
Yes, Maul of the Skyclaves, a big draw on to the Seasoned Hallowblade.
So I do secretly hope that we do see an Ugin, because then this game would be very interesting.
Looks like Bone Crusher's going to jump in front of that Woe Strider. The good doggy is going to sack itself. Woe Strider will have indestructible. Playing that Fable Passage. Ready to find a land here. Let's get an island. Cast that Genesis Ultimatum. What do we got? Beanstalk Giant, couple of lands, and a Bone Crusher Giant. Hallie is at 5. Can't cast the Scorching Dragonfire in hand. Just a little too much. Yeah. Can't stop the Seasoned Hallowblade.
The flying Seasoned Hallowblade that gets indestructible.
Ash Lizzle will go to 1-0. And Hallie, it's only week 1.
It's only week 1.
There is plenty more magic in front of us for season 4. We are only just starting.
Yeah. Previously, in past seasons, even people with 4-3 records have made it into the cut to go to being wild cards and even gone on to make it into the top 8. So
That's
it's totally possible, even with some early losses, that you can rally yourself back up and still make it into the top 8. So it's a good first step for Ash Lizzle, but it is not over for Hallie either.
That is very true. Very true. Well played on both sides. That was a treat. And I think we're ready to move on to our next matchup. We have Vendula versus Rhea. Vendula versus Rhea Skies out of Division 7. First, we'll be taking a look at Rhea's mono white aggro deck here.
Mm-hmm.
You want more Mole of Skyclaves? We're going to get more Mole of Skyclaves.
We're also getting Bozri Ket.
Yeah.
I love that card.
Who doesn't? It's a great magic card. It needs a nice home, so hopefully Rhea has found one for Bowser here. Absolutely love the speculations for Kaldheim question that Rhea answered.
Ooh.
Right now, we're coming off an insanely high power level of Eldraine, as everyone knows, with all cyclical patterns. R&D is responding by tamping down the power just a little bit. By Kaldheim or Strixhaven, there will be good cards, but we should expect to see the sheer efficiency of Uro or Bonecrusher Giant out of cards in the next set. I absolutely agree, and I think that's a great take.
Yeah, I think that's a good take as well, and will be exciting to see how that shakes up with these next few sets, because I know I'm very excited for Kaldheim, even in just a few things that we've seen so far. I love the idea behind Strixhaven, so I'm also very excited about that. And I mean, I'm always excited for new sets in Magic, but the moment that you add a theme that's really exciting, the last set that I was truly really excited for was Eldraine. I loved kind of storybook things, and the moment they were like, here are these alternate arts for these storybook cards, loved that. And I'm very excited seeing all the alternate arts for Kaldheim so far. So very excited to see how those are gonna come out and look on cards in the future.
Well, I totally agree with you. I also love the whole kind of like the whole fairy tale. I like the telling a story sets. I like that. I like that it's, you can feel the theme. Like I'm enjoying Kaldheim. A couple of spoilers so far, so they've been pretty.
I'm excited
wonderful.
for Tybalt to come back.
Yes.
And he's Loki. That's so exciting.
It is definitely very exciting. Now, I'm excited to check out some of these mono white cards that we really haven't seen too much of. Things like Loris. Loris is a very powerful card. Just like very rarely seen it. It's like in the they play the one of in Rogues, as the companion, but Loris not seeing a lot of action for what it had when it first came out. Cards like Heliod Suncrown or Daxos Blessed by the Sun. I love these cards. They're just not seeing a lot of play in Constructed. So I'm really happy to see them all together in this deck here.
I'm also excited to see cards like Containment Priest in the sideboard. I don't know. A lot of people don't like or have been very against like these really strong sideboard cards that have kind of been staples in older formats. But I personally love me a good sideboard card, and I think that Containment Priest is exactly that.
I think I agree with that. I like how balanced it is, and it's a really, really good card. Cards like Banishing Light. When Banishing Light had first come out in Theros, I believe it was in everything. It was just the catch-all. Everybody played Banishing Light. I haven't seen any Banishing Light. Like I'm so happy that it's here. I'm so happy to see Banishing Light. Cards like Last Cat, and like we were saying before, cards like Maul of the Skyclaves. It's really awesome to see these all together, working together in a nice like little synergy. This mono white aggro, low to the ground. Just kill your opponent real quick. Maybe gain a little life if you feeling frisky, but mow them over. Get it done.
All right, are we ready to look at Vendula, aka Glory, her deck?
Absolutely. We've got Vendula also on a mono-colored strategy here. We've got Mono Green Food. This one, a little more of a familiar deck. Seen this one a few times, like competitive, like more on like the ladder and things like that. Cards like Lovestruck Beast, Wicked Wolf, Elder Gargaroth. These are standard mainstays. Wicked Wolf had its time in the sun, went away for a bit, and now it's back.
And now it's back. And it's best friends with Feasting Troll King. And I love me a Feasting Troll King. I think that card is great. Some of its wording doesn't make a ton of sense. Also, the fact that it's a king and it's not legendary kind of allows you to do some very powerful things.
Yeah,
Big fan of Feasting Troll King,
there
personally.
are many feasting troll kings apparently, or all the troll kings are feasting.
Yeah, exactly.
It's there's just it's I feel like it's victim of the whole, the 3 paragraphs of text rule and none of its flavor text,
Yeah.
where I tried playing it once and I'm like, oh, it has vigilance too, and then I'm like, oh wait, I have to cast it from my hand to make the food tokens, and then I'm like,
Yeah.
wait, I can only bring it back on my turn. So I was like, all right, that's enough, I've done my
Totally
reading
figuring
for the
everything out,
day.
yeah. No, I get you.
But a very powerful card. And I picked it up because I lost to it so many times. That's usually how it goes.
Yeah,
So
we've all been there. You don't play Magic without succumbing to the "if you can't beat 'em, join 'em" mentality.
and then I joined them and they kicked me out of that club too because
Oh,
I couldn't do
oh.
it. I tried.
Something that I do like about Vendula's mono green food desk, playing Bondir's Enclave. I think that that card very good with a lot of these big chunky green creatures, and something that I felt like this deck struggled with a little bit was getting some extra value. You're playing things like Trail of Crumbs, but sometimes that's not always able to come together as easily, and I think that this card in Bondir's Enclave is going to be a nice little helper for
Yeah,
us.
it's really good that this deck, it needs to be recursive. It needs to replenish its hand
Mhm.
off of things like card draw with the Great Henge, or like you said, Trail of Crumbs. So it's really, I think it's a great card. Actually, like probably one of the more important cards in this matchup. And we've got our couple of witches ovens here for all of you sacrificing cat people out there. just play this deck instead,
Yeah,
right? It's the same thing.
exactly. I mean, I did play this deck, and I also did play a lot of the cat sacrifice decks, so this the connecting of the dots is there. Alright, are
Mhm.
we ready to get into this match?
Oh, I am so ready.
Let's go.
Let's dive right in here. Again, this is Ria versus Vendula. We'll be watching on the side of Ria, our mono white player. We've got 2 lands, couple of 1 drops, 2 drop. Nice little curve here. This is a snap keep. We're going to start off with a Speaker of the Heavens. For all of you that don't know, Speaker of the Heavens is a 1/1 for a white Vigilance lifelink. You can tap it to create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying. You can only activate that ability if you have at least 7 or more life than your starting life total, and only when you can cast a sorcery. So looks like the one
Glad
one
you
will
read
get.
that 'cause I had to go to a new tab and be like, "What does this card do?"
No, it's a very sneaky, very nice card. I think they're playing a lot of the white life gain decks in historic right now, actually.
Mhm.
So we'll see that joined by a Daxos. Those 2 cards work very well together, as Daxos gains life whenever another creature enters the battlefield or dies. We've got Heliod Sun Crown coming up here. We're looking at a Princess token and Gilded Goose on the other side. Daxos going to get into the red zone. Princess token jumping in front. No, maybe. Daxos will
Wow.
get in for 2. Vendula down to 18. And a pass to the turn back. Lovestruck Beast will be a play here, kind of clogging up the battlefield a little bit.
Yeah, I would have expected that. If you told me a mono white deck and a mono green deck were gonna play against each other, I'd imagine that the game states were about to be a little bit crazy for sure.
Ooh, and it looks like Skyclave Apparition coming in, taking care of that Lovestruck Beast, Heliod becoming a creature, gaining a little life off of Daxos, putting a counter because of Heliod onto the Speaker of the Heavens, and we are off to the races. So we've got Heliod out on the battlefield, Daxos, everything gaining life. We'll see a Trail of Crumbs from Vendula's side, a second Gilded Goose. We got a bunch of food. Doesn't look like anything to do with it yet.
Sorry, I had to sneeze. And then my dog was looking at me like, "What is wrong with you?" Okay. All right, lots of things are happening. We're gaining a lot of life. We're throwing some counters on things because of Heliod. Dexos, Heliod doing some
Yep.
nice things, some fun interactions from this mono white deck, and not a lot of things on the side of Vendula.
No, Selfless Savior and a Glass Casket to take care of the non-summoning sick Gilded Goose. Gilded Goose going to jump in front of Heliod. Medulla dropping down to 6 life. Rhea gaining a lot of life, and we are over the threshold for Speaker of the Heavens at 29 life. So Speaker of the Heavens is going to start making 4/4s every turn now, and that's just going to be a little too much for Vendula to overcome. So we're going to
You
move
don't
on
have to
to game
sacrifice me?
number 2.
Nope, you don't. Wow. Okay. I
So
just like I read that ability and I just like assumed that you had to sacrifice it, but I guess if you had to sacrifice it, it would have been an uncommon
yeah,
instead. But
it's
all
just
right,
vigilance.
wild.
Yeah, it's just vigilance lifelink. You can attack with it and then tap it. So you can
Wow.
yeah, it's a pretty sweet card. Once you get that engine going, mono white life gain, and then once you get that engine going, you're putting counters on things, and Heliod's a creature, and you're gaining life here, and you're adding stuff, and Daxos gains life. It takes off. It's hard to get it back under control. So we're looking at sideboards here. We have a giant killer, two containment priests, one Dranith magistrate, one glass casket, one sorcerer spyglass, one banishing light, two idol of endurance, two skyclave apparition, two legion angel, and one luminous brood moth on the side of Rhea. Let's see, on Vendula's side here, we have two Chainweb Arachneer, one Ranger's Guile, one Ram Through, two Scavenging Ooze, two Thrashing Bronodon, three Questing Beasts, two Elder Gargaroth, one Vivian Monsters Advocate, and one Kogla, the Titan Ape. So,
Sucks that our sideboard isn't a little bit more small creatures. That was kind of my issue with the mono green food deck when I was playing it, is that it's actually quite top heavy for a like green ramp deck. You're playing a lot of things that cost a lot of mana, and if you ever get clogged on mana and you're not able to accelerate, and you're really not even playing that much acceleration, games end up being very awkward for you. And so it sucks to like look at the sideboard and be like, okay, everything I want to bring in is like 4+ mana. And that's just kind of the nature of this mono green deck right now. And I think it's probably one of those things where Wizards was like, well, we can't make it too strong. So they just kind of took away some of the good things that mono green used to have so that it wasn't quite as nuts. But we do see Scavenging Ooze and early play coming down. Hopefully we'll hold down the fort for us for a little bit.
yeah, it looks good. Daxos, however, does kind of have big booty there. So we'll see. Daxos may be able to attack pretty early. We had both players going to 6 this game. So both players with 4 cards in hand now. Just playing a Love Struck Beast. Going to stop
Sometimes,
any potential attacks.
yeah, sometimes you just got to play a 5/5 that says, you shall not pass. And Love
All
Struck
right, we'll see.
Beast certainly does that.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Love Struck Beast stops most things in their tracks. We'll see a giant killer get played here as a creature, as just a tapper. Ooh, and a turn 4 Great Henge, one of the best plays that can come out of the mono green deck here coming down. I'm not sure about ways to remove that on Rhea's side, besides something like a Banishing Light.
Mm-hmm.
We'll
Yeah, it
see.
doesn't look like we're playing anything that could really handle that.
We'll see Scavenging Ooze eating the Love Struck Beast that was giant killed. And a pass back of the turn, no attacks. Vendula at 23 life, Rhea at 22. So everybody's just gaining life here.
We're all gaining life. You gain some life. You gain some life. You gain some life.
Nobody, nobody taking any damage. Rhea with a Loris and an All-See left in hand. And we'll see Questing Beast come on the side of Vendula, coming down as a 5/5 because of the Great Henge. Drawing a card and unable to block it. Rhea will take 5, drop down to 17. Looks like we'll play Giant Killer here, gain a life off of Daxos, play the All-See, get another life off of Daxos, back up to 19 for Rhea, a healthy 25 life for Vendula with an active Great Henge, Scavenging Ooze. We got a healthy looking Questing Beast there. Giant Killer, though, gonna tap down the Questing Beast before attacks.
All right, how much can we get through for here? And we don't mind if some amount of things get blocked and go away. Personally, if I was Rhea, I'd be going all in. Well, okay, we're being stopped a little bit, but for the most part, I would be okay with some amount of things dying, as we have this Luris in hand and we can pretty much recast anything with Luris on the exact same turn.
And
So
it
at
looks
this
like
point, it's just like, how aggressive can we be?
Wicked Wolf wants to attack, will eat that Alseid of Life's bounty, gain a life off of Daxos here, and a life off of the Alseid fight, I suppose, too. We'll see Loris here we go. And we'll see about that loop here. Unfortunately, Scavenging Ooze. Oh, no. Scavenging Ooze will not have the opportunity to eat it. So Alcide will just come back. I was, yeah, I suppose. Could have done it with Worth on the stack or something. Yeah, for sure.
I do that a lot. It's one of the bad parts about Arena. I feel like when I'm playing Arena, I'm never truly focused on just Arena, and sometimes I just like let things happen, and then I'm like, oh snap.
Yes, it happens. Ooh, and Elder Gargars.
All right, so earlier when I was saying that looking at Vendula's sideboard, I'm looking at all these big expensive spells, and I'm like, I want to bring them in, but I also want to survive against this big ramp deck. I was specifically looking at the 3 Questing Beasts and 2 Elder Gargaroth and Vendula's sideboard and being like, these are what I want, but am I going to get there? And it looks like we're getting there on the side of Vendula.
Yeah.
And this Questing Beast able to plow through most of these things.
Yes. Fortunately,
sorry,
oh no, please. I'm all about it. Not having the ability to tap anything down this turn with the giant killers that are on the battlefield. Loris going to Selfless Savior and then jump in front. And it looks like with no green mana open, we'll be able to replay that Selfless Savior and maul the Skyclaves, the draw for turn here on Rhea's side.
Making something be able to fly with Maul the Skyclaves, and also make 4/4 angels off of this secret. What is its name again?
Oh, Speaker of the
Heavens. Sorry, haven't really seen this card before today, so it'll be it's interesting to see how we're gonna handle these flying threats coming in from the mono white side.
Yes, it looks like both players we have going wide here. The benefit for Vendula, though, is every time she plays a creature, she draws a card off of the Great Henge, and her creatures are going to just be bigger than the ones on Rhea's side. So, see, Great Henge, play a creature, draw a card. Play a creature, draw a card. So, Rhea does have the benefit of being able to recur her creatures, but that Scavenging Ooze, double Scavenging Ooze, may prove to be more than a little pesky. I'm gonna tap down that Elder Gargaroth. So and looks like we are gonna get some action here though. Questing Beast, Wicked Wolf, and Kazandu Mammoth all getting in the red zone. Now we have Daxo's got a pretty big booty at the moment as a 2/9.
Big booty, but it doesn't matter how big your booty is, you can't block Questing Beast.
Yes. So it looks like Loris and the Angel will double block on the Questing Beast. Selfless Savior going to jump in front of Wicked Wolf, and Allseed going to get in front of the Kazandu Mammoth. And thinking about what to do here. It's definitely a big point in this game, needing to be able to block, keep your life total above the point where you can continue to make 4/4s on Rhea's side. Vendula needs to get her below that point, but still maintain a board on either side. So we're going to lose a couple creatures on Rhea's side, a couple of Daxos triggers. We got 2 Daxos triggers there. And Giant Killer going to tap down a Love Struck Beast here on the end step. So makes me wonder if Rhea's thinking about getting frisky here next turn, or just using the mana for something.
I'd imagine just using the mana, keeping the option open. There's not really any downside to doing this on the end step, so might as well tap down a creature on Vendula's side.
All right, and looks like Vendula thinking about cracking one of these foods with Gilded Goose to make a green and eat some of Rhea's graveyard. We'll see if that's what she ends up doing here. And it looks like she will. And she'll eat the owl seed over the Selfless Savior. So. And Selfless Savior.
My doggos.
The puppy that keeps on pupping. Aw.
Vendula secretly knew. Oh.
But Rhea said that's enough. Maybe realizing that she could not overcome the board that Vendula had built there and that was going to continue to build. So looks like we're going to keep on going. Looks like the Luminous Broodmoth came in here. I see. Basriket's staying. Basriket's in the sideboard now, though. Unfortunately, so I suppose we're not going to see Basri. Not going to see Basri on Ria's side tonight.
It's fine. You've only hurt me a little bit, Ria, but it's fine.
Any thoughts on? I kind of liked Vendula's plan about staying alive to be able to cast things like Questing Beast and Elder Gargaroth.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like she just added the Scavenging Oozes, so a little bit more of early staying power in the form of those two creatures. I wouldn't be. I'm sorry, my dog is. Hello. He's very excited about Selfless Spirit.
We should introduce our co-host Apollo.
Yeah, he's helping me cast today, apparently. I also wouldn't be too surprised if the Thrashing Brontodons came in, along with the Questing Beast and the Elder Gargaroth, and us taking out just like things that we maybe aren't focusing. Like, we're probably not using the mana ever to do Trail of Crumb things, so I imagine that those possibly would have come out, and just some of the other harder to cast or harder to dirtle around with spells from the mono green deck for just like creatures to do things against what Ria's deck is doing.
All right, and it looks like we're going to start keeping 7 on Ria's side. We've got a couple of those spell lands here. Going to repeat our turn 1 play from games 1 and 2 and play a Speaker of the Heavens. We're going to see a Princess token on the side of Vendula pass back, and an All Seed get played on Ria's side. Tangled Florahedron from... See, everybody's playing those spell lands.
Everybody's playing those spell lands. I am partial to Tangled Florahedron. I like me some mana creatures, so... Battle of 1/1s. We do have just a 1/1 after 1/1 after 1/1, but Heliod probably going to shake that up a little bit here.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. So, decline on attacks. So, we both players, we have Vendula at 20, Ria's at 19, and there it is. Questing Beast is back.
Westy coming in.
All right. We'll see Skyclave Apparition coming down here, taking care of the Questing Beast, but also making Heliod a creature. With everything tapped, Ria's able to get in. Heliod triggers from the life gain, making that speaker just a little bit larger, and Ria's back up to 16. Oh, there's the Gargaroth.
I don't know why that's so funny to me, but it is.
And
let's do a fight.
Kabira Takedown. The flip side of the white flip land, the spell side, takes down the Gargaroth. Kabira Takedown is an instant. It deals damage equal to the number of creatures you control to target creature or planeswalker. It's actually, I think, one of the better flip cards that hasn't really seen a lot of play. Mm-hmm. So I feel like it's one of the more underrated
strategy like this. Yeah, I agree.
It's fantastic in a deck like this that's just looking for just playing as many 1/1s as they possibly can. And we'll see a Lovestruck Beast and a Scavenging Ooze on the side of Vendula, trying to stay alive here at a 7 life, and a Luminous Broodmoth, the draw from Ria's side. Looks like we're going to start by playing the Luminous Broodmoth.
Man, Moth been quite stellar in the last 2 decks that we've seen.
Yes, it has. Thinking about what are we getting in with? It looks like everything's coming in. All the Owl Seeds.
Praise Mothra.
Right? Skyclave's coming in. Heliod's coming in. Speaker of the Heavens is coming in. Everything's coming in.
We're trying to get this done.
And that'll do it.
Vendula will scoop it up, overwhelmed by the white creatures coming out of Ria's deck. And we have been seeing some interesting cards that we haven't ever really seen previously, which maybe is speaking very highly of the standard format that is currently in front of us. And we're getting to see some cool things, some cool interactions.
Some Mauler Skyclaves deck.
Some Mauler
Skyclaves.
Some Luminous Broodmoth.
Speaker of the Heavens, play turn 1 play on games 1, 2, and 3. Love that card. Great card.
So
I will sing the praises of Speaker of the Heavens now.
Yeah, slowly becoming a big fan of some cards that I previously didn't pay a ton of attention to, I guess.
No, white has been the most underrated color in Magic. Maybe it was bad for a little bit, but it's back.
Trying to come back.
Come back, given the old college try. So shall we move on to our next matchup tonight?
Let's get going.
I like this one.
Ooh, okay.
I hope you all are ready. We've got our first Gruul deck of the evening.
First, you would think that we would have watched. We tried not to make everything be a Gruul on Gruul matchup, but this isn't. We didn't actually pick any Gruul on Gruul matchup. Though Gruul is our most represented deck in week 1, so most of the decks that people submitted look something like this. They're playing the Elfwell Innkeepers, the Brushfire Elementals, the Adventure Creatures, so on and so forth. This is what a lot of Standard right now currently looks like in most tournaments that you would be playing. We have been trying to feature some not Gruul decks because we want to keep you all entertained and not watch a bunch of red and green creatures fly across the screen at each other. But yeah, this is what
white creatures. We want more white creatures. Bring back Mauler Skyclaves.
Bring back Speaker of the Heavens. No, but I'm also happy to switch it up, go to a different artifact, see a little bit of Embercleave, see a little bit of Brushfire Elemental. I do quite like myself
in the cleave.
Well, how do you make it clave? Belave in the clave? That doesn't make
sense. I'll go with it, sure.
But yeah, so this is a pretty standard Gruul deck. I'm trying to see if there's anything kind of spicy about it. We're playing the 1 Primal Might and 1 Crowan War. I also played something similar to this week as well. So a couple of people are doing it, but it's kind of like the spicy one-ofs that are good against most decks and aren't horrible to see, and sometimes you get to do some fun things with some escape creatures on the sideboard, the Wilts, Fire Prophecy, and some Planeswalkers. This actually might be an exact 75 of what I also registered. It looks like it. The more that I look at this, the more I'm like, oh, I did all of this exact same thing. Okay.
I didn't know. I actually registered Gruul as well. It's a little different than mine, but I only had 2 Embereth Shield Breakers in the main. I only played 3 Embercleave. I guess I didn't believe in the cleave enough. That's all.
Amanda is also. We are playing the same. So
I do love it. Amanda's reasoning for picking this deck this week with no information from the previous week. So you got to know, this is like week 1, blank slate. Amanda is brand new to the VML, and we welcome her wholeheartedly. So happy to have her here, as well as our other 63 competitors. But Amanda says they are super comfortable with Gruul. I've been playing it the most while climbing the standard ladder. And honestly, that was key in week 1 for a lot of people. Like I said, with little to no information to go off of, you're just kind of like, well, what deck do I enjoy playing or want to try out or am most comfortable with here?
Yeah.
So,
and here is a good formula for picking a week 1 deck.
Yes. So Amanda says, this season, looking forward to connecting with others in the community, trying my best within competing. Caroline, the Mighty Linguini, was actually kind enough to bring the tournament to my attention. I've enjoyed all the warm welcomes and kind words from everyone. And but Amanda's competitor this week
is the other side of the competitor.
Doesn't have any kind words now. We have
now it's only serious words.
Right? And there's VML, MTG, Season 2 and Season 3, back-to-back champion, Mighty Linguini. She is back with her championship deck from Season 3. Yes. So
Caroline seems like
Caroline,
the least vengeful person in the world to me, so it's funny to joke that she's back with a vengeance.
now Caroline says she won season 3 with this black red deck, had to run it back, but this time with Corvold. I guess I'd be facing Gruul here, but here we are anyway. It's a literal 50-50 from testing. Speculations from Kaldheim, and I think this comes from like the bottom of all of our hearts in production and trying to like make sure this tournament stays on track. Please, no more bannings. No more. We're done. No more. Just don't print ridiculous cards. That's the speculation. That's the speculation. That's the hope. That's our plea. Please.
We all would like for there to be no bannings, but a lot of the times it's hard to figure out between a small group of people what a large group of people are going to find and put together and create into giant monstrosities that are some of the previous decks that have required bans.
All right, and let's take a look at this list here that we have from Mighty. Like we said, very similar to her championship list. She's got some Corvolds in there. She's got the nice Art Skyclave shades. So nice that they had to put it as like the top card in like 3 of the rows. So we can take a look at that. I love it. Now, some of the more important cards in this matchup, things like Claim the Firstborn and the Akroan War. Mighty Linguini also playing main deck Shredded Sails. Now, on the other side, Manda is playing some main deck Shield Breakers, but those Shield Breakers not nearly as good against Mighty Linguini as Shredded Sails is against Manda here, threatening the both Embercleave and the Great Henge on Manda's side. Anything special stick out to you here?
I'm also always just like interested when I see 3-colored decks. We're playing a Save Triumph, which is a Mardu land, and we're playing 3 green sources, I believe. Well, I guess if you count the Fabled Passages, we're playing 6. No, we're playing 4 Cried Crown Pathway, not 2. We're playing 8. All right, never mind. We're fine.
We're good. There's 1 forest.
There's 1 forest, but there's 4 Fabled Passages.
4 Fabled Passage. 4 Cried Crown. Yeah, we're good.
We're good. But we are also playing some white sources just in case.
It's not like it's open deck lists or anything. You can surprise your opponent.
So I'm both peaked, interested. It doesn't seem like Caroline is going to need to do a whole lot of sideboarding. Perhaps we'll want the eliminates, shield breakers of her own, and maybe an Akroan War to steal a big creature. We'll see. I believe we have hand cams, so we'll be able to see both of how these players choose to sideboard after we get into this first game.
All right, let's do it. I am so ready to get going. And it looks like on our side here, we have Manda on Gruul Adventures. And on the top side is Red-Black Corvold with the champion Mighty Linguini. We're going to see a mulligan on Mighty Linguini's side. We're going to keep 6.
Ooh, I like the lands that Caroline, or the sleeves that Caroline has.
Oh, those are nice.
Secret Lair Seth McKinnon ones.
So we'll see an Edgewall Innkeeper come down and a Castle Lochthwain on Mighty Linguini's side. Not having a swamp or another black source, so might as well get the tap land out of the way anyway. Wasn't going to do anything on turn 1 here. Innkeeper's going to get across for 2. We'll see a mountain come down on Manda's side and a pass of the turn. Linguini will draw a Heartless Act to take care of that Edgewall Innkeeper. No other responses there. Manda just going to pass the turn back. Not going to stomp here. Looks like...
See, this is this is my problem with the Gruul deck. Every single time, it's always turn 2, and I have a Kazandu Mammoth, and I'm like, man, I'd really love to play this as a 3 for 3. And then I can't. I have to play it as a land because I also have a Fabled Passage, and I want to be able to play my Questing Beast. It happens every single time, and it makes me so angry.
So it looks like Mighty Linguini will play a tap land here and a Skyclave Shade that will swiftly be stomped on Manda's side before coming back to Manda. And looks like Fabled Passage, Questing Beast may be the play here, but Brushfire Elemental was the draw for turn.
If I have a Brushfire Elemental in my hand and a Fabled Passage as well, I'm like, get in there.
Yeah, and it looks like that is going to be the play on Manda's side. gonna get in. Not gonna crack it yet though. So
Oh,
we just played it, did not
okay,
crack.
right. We're trying to spread this damage out. Okay. My dog is also he's excited that I got excited. He keeps trying to be calm, and then I get excited about something, and then he's like, "Hello? That means you want to play, yeah?"
Pretty much, yeah.
Pretty much.
See, I'm not sure if keeping the feeble crack passage from cracking, besides spreading out the damage, also may protect the Brushfire Elemental from a card like Shatter Skull Smashing or something like that. Fortunately, it doesn't do anything against the Heartless Act, so Brushfire Elemental will go to the bin. Fable Passage is going to be cracked here on Mighty Linguini's side, and we'll see a Skyclave Shade coming back to coming back to the battlefield. And now Amanda will grab a mountain and stomp out that Skyclave Shade, and both players tapped out will pass the turn back.
Skyclave Shades must be stomped.
Ember's Shieldbreaker, the draw for turn. Looks like we're going to do Edgewall Innkeeper into Bone Crusher Giant, drawing a land off of that, which is perfect. So Amanda will play the land, a Crowan War on Mighty Linguini's side, going to steal the Edgewall Innkeeper here.
Interesting. I imagine Caroline's thought process here is we have no way to destroy the Edgewall Innkeeper, and we aren't going to be able to keep up if Amanda is able to play like 2 adventure creatures next turn and draw 2 cards. Like, that's just not something that we can handle. So we would rather use this Akroan War to block the damage incoming from the Bone Crusher Giant next turn based on Chapter 2 of the Akroan War. Get rid of the Edgewall Innkeeper and also prevent Amanda from drawing extra cards on her turn.
So it looks like Lovestruck Beast is the play for turn on Amanda's side. So Edgewall Innkeeper, now it's dead, jumped in front of Bone Crusher Giant. So Mighty Linguini doesn't have to worry as much about that card advantage. Woe Strider going to be the play on Mighty Linguini's side after drawing a Village Rites for turn. So Timur Calls the Dead and Village Rites in Mighty Linguini's hand. Fable Passage is the draw on Amanda's side. Looks like Fable Passage will be the play here. Got a Shatter Skull Smashing in hand at the moment. We'll see. That is what it looks like she's going to deploy here. Has enough to kill both the Goat and the Woe Strider if she decides to.
Man,
yes, and it looks like
chapter of the Akroan War really feels bad against a card like Questing Beast.
Yes, it certainly is. So it looks like Mighty Linguini is deciding here about scrying and village rightsing and what order to do it. So it looks like Woe Strider will sack the goat. We're going to scry to the bottom there. And in response to the Shadow Skull, yet still going to cast that village rights. Amanda's got to get across. Although bringing Mighty Linguini down to 4, not such a bad feeling from Amanda's side, even though she is going to lose Bone Crusher Giant as Akroan War, this third part of the saga, resolves.
Oh, we keep the Questing Beast.
We do keep Questing Beast. And Woe Strider is back. It's a bit bigger this time around. Still bringing the goat. Playing a land. Can't take advantage of the Skyclave Shade. Oh my goodness.
Angel of Grace called it in the chat.
Oh my goodness.
Summoning the cleave at just the right time.
Oh my.
Oh.
Is that a never didn't have it or?
Never didn't have it. Absolutely.
Yikes. Questing Beast Ember Cleave. That is it's peanut butter and jelly.
Which
right?
head holds the Ember Cleave? There's 3 of them. Do they all hold it together?
I feel like, do you think they like pass it to each other? So it's like,
yeah.
That's, they do like this cool like juggle.
Have triple strike, yeah? Because each one holds it.
It
gives double strike, but I just imagine it has triple strike and they all hold it.
And we're taking a look here at Mighty Linguini's sideboard. We have 2 Duress, 2 Agonizing Remorse, 2 Eliminate, 2 Embereth Shieldbreaker, 2 Croxa, 2 Phoenix of Ash, and a Crone War and an Ox of Aganas. It looks like the Skyclave Shades are coming out. They can't block, so they're no good.
Yeah, get those out of here. We
Mhm.
only believe in blocking in this house. That's not
Oh,
true. We only believe in attacking in this house, actually. But in the Mighty Linguini's house for this matchup, we don't believe in that. We want blocking creatures, please.
that's true. So it looks like Phoenix of Ash came in on Amanda's side here. We're going to start with a Brush Fire on turn 2. Mighty Linguini keeping kind of a funny one here. Very defensive hand with some village rights and eliminate a Heartless Act, a Crone War, and a Corvold that was drawn. But speaking of draws, Brushfire Elemental,
Believe.
double Brushfire Elemental, Fable Passage feels pretty good. Not going to save the Fable Passage crack here. Just going to go for it. That draws out the Eliminate from the Mighty Linguini side, but still getting a trigger, double trigger off of that Fable Passage. Mighty Linguini is going to drop down to 14 life here. And Fable Passage, the land for turn on Mighty Linguini's side. You think a Crone War? Or yeah, it looks like that's going to be the play.
I don't want this thing to attack me, so I'm going to hold on to it for a second.
Yes, and with 2 village rights in the hand, it feels pretty good to steal anything.
I agree. I don't like to sacrifice my own creatures to village rights, but I do love to sacrifice my opponent's creatures to village rights.
Looks like we're able to Edgewall Innkeeper, and now there's a choice. We can cast a Bone Crusher Giant and drawing a card. Always feels good to draw cards off of Edgewall Innkeeper while you can. So a Crone War ticks up to its second part. Claim the Firstborn, the draw on Mighty Linguini's side. So she can just go ham on Amanda's creatures right now. And
we could draw so many cards and kill so many of our opponent's creatures.
Looks like we're going to claim it. It looks like we're going to claim the Edgewall Innkeeper. Mighty Linguini just loves stealing Edgewall Innkeepers.
I mean, yeah. I think the thought process behind this one has to be similar, if not exactly the same. It's just a better creature to steal when we're not really that concerned about our life total. Though maybe the Mighty Linguini should be concerned about her life total. She doesn't know about this Ember Cleave that's in Amanda's hand, and that's what was her doom last game.
No, that is a dangerous, a precarious place to be. So Bone Crusher Giant,
attack. Let's go.
Bone Crusher Giant must get in here. Looks like Mighty Linguini is okay with taking the 4 damage, dropping down to 10. Amanda's still at a healthy 17 life on the other side. Playing Heart's Desire. Let's get a Princess token out there. Can't play the other side of Lovestruck Beast, though. Only 1 green source in play. Looks like Village Rights will take care of Brushfire Elemental before we can go back and click and forget and have the third part of the saga go before you can kill it. Because that's never happened to me.
Oh, no.
So, looks like...
we got another Village Rights. Draw more cards.
So many Village Rights. And Corvold will be the play on Mighty Linguini's side. Looking to sacrifice a swamp here. Fabled Passage, very nice with Corvold.
Oh, very nice interaction with Corvold, indeed.
Yes, that Corvold will grow out of control, if not taken care of very quickly. Unfortunately, right now, Amanda has no way to take care of a Corvold.
Mm-hmm. Where are our shredded sails? We don't play any.
No shredded sails on this side. I don't think it would even take care of it anymore. Too big. Too big.
I forget that one is a specific amount of damage.
It's pretty much just a Crone War to kill Mighty Linguini with her own, but she's got a Village Rights, so wouldn't be able to steal it anyway. Speaking of a Crone War,
Mighty Linguini is playing 3 copies of that card.
Yes, that card has
Mighty Linguini very much expecting that people were going to play Gruul, and I want to take big Gruul creatures.
Yes. Why play big creatures yourself when you can just steal the ones from your opponent?
Yeah. And sacrifice them.
Yes. Yes. Becky, I think we're seeing the error of our ways for
We could have played this deck. Why did we play Gruul?
Sacking so many things here. Corvold growing. Oh my goodness. Soul Seer. Too big for a Soul Seer here too. Can't, putting Embercleave on a princess. Embercleave on the princess isn't going to do much. Maybe hoping a Phoenix of Ash block to combine with a Soul Seer. I don't think that's going to be enough because the Corvold has you sacrifice something on attack triggers, so it would not be big enough. Thinking about Love Struck Beast here, but
we'll hold the Soul Seer open as a Hail Mary. Maybe.
All right, well, until next turn, Manda's creatures are going to have to attack. So if it's not going to block here, it's going to be attacking. Oh, Croxa. Croxa's a tough one.
That has a sacrifice trigger for Corvold.
Yes, it does.
Ooh.
Those synergies, though.
That's just good deck building.
All right, looks like Soul Seer is going to hit the bin there. Very little chance of Manda to be able to pull off this game 2 without a card like Embercleave. So seeing that Soul Seer's got to go. Not able to kill Corvold anyway. Would take damage if tried to kill Bone Crusher. Gonna need to figure out how to go on the offensive if she is going to have a chance in this game. Both players are at 10 life right now. We're seeing more action on the side of Mighty Linguini. It is a Heartless Act. That will take care of the Phoenix. So it's cleared out now. Shatter Skull Smashing coming down as a land. The Hammer Pass
is clear.
Yes. And it's a large flying attacker. So the Princess token has to jump in front of the Bone Crusher Giant. Looks like Village Rites gonna sack the Bone Crusher Giant. That'll do it. That's 10 damage for Xaxes. Mighty Linguini will take down game 2 here, and we're moving on to a game 3. Let's take a look at Manda's sideboarding here. Looks like all of the Ember Shield Breakers came out. They weren't doing much. Same thing, no Crone War needed anymore. Bring in things like Phoenix of Ash, maybe put a little extra early pressure on, trying to kill Mighty Linguini before the game gets too out of hand.
But Caroline brought in her 4th copy of the Crone War.
Yes. So very, very good against Gruul and Mono Green and other big creature strategies. What are your thoughts on 2 Croxa in the main, 2 Croxa in the sideboard for Mighty Linguini here?
I think it's just like this card is good, but isn't always going to be able to... If you're playing 4, it's really hard to be able to escape it. You're not like really churning through your deck. Like their biggest ability to churn through your deck is your 2 copies of Timurat Calls the Dead. So it seems like it would just be really taxing unless the like discard from the front side of Croxa is like really good, which in the case of the Gruul deck, it like doesn't matter as much as if you were playing against a control deck. I like just playing 2 and not worrying about it so much.
Oh, I love it. The diminishing returns. That's really good. Now, really unfortunately, we have Mighty Linguini mulliganing down to 5 cards. Mana kept 7, but it doesn't seem like a fast 7, so we'll see. That kind of changed a little bit with the draw of Bone Crusher Giant here. Being able to play that mountain, leave up Stomp for any potential play Mighty Linguini may have.
But there won't be one, so we're just going to either keep holding on to this Bone Crusher Giant or play it for the front side.
But we're certainly not playing that Kazandu Mammoth on turn 3 because we can't. Again.
I'm annoyed just watching. I'm not annoyed with Manda. I'm annoyed with Kazandu Mammoth. My gripe is with Kazandu Mammoth.
I'm kind of I get that. I feel your pain. I've been there too.
I both love that card. It has the greatest intentions, but it does me dirty every single time.
Well, very importantly here on Mighty Linguini's side, making the land drops is going to matter a lot, and she has not missed one yet, and actually just does have some plays. Has a Woe Strider, which is recursive, can come back. Bone Crusher Giant is 2 spells in 1. Cards like Village Rites
And if we're Amanda here,
replace
like,
themselves.
sucks. Like, do I get another red source for like the 2 double red spells in my hand, or a double green for the Gazandu Mammoth? Like, it hurts. It hurts me to watch this because I've been in this spot, and it is so awkward.
Yes, and it looks like another Bone Crusher Giant, the draw for turn here. It looks like Shatter Skull Smashing is going to be played as a land.
As it always has to be, because
as it always has to be.
I'm not upset.
Poor
It doesn't
Mammoth.
always have to be. I know. I've just been in the situation where it's been really awkward, and I'm not dream brain enough to know what to do all the time.
And now Kazandu Mammoth isn't even Amanda's anymore. It's Mighty Linguini's. So it's a traitorous, traitorous elephant. Dirty
That's why
elephant.
the mammoths are extinct.
And it looks like we're going to see a Wolf Strider on the side of Mighty Linguini. So we have a couple of different sacrifice outlets here between the Village Rites, 2 copies of that.
And woo!
Yes. And Wolf Strider can always sack the Kazandu Mammoth if, for whatever reason, Mighty Linguini needs to tap out for one thing or another. So before that a Crone War goes off, we'll be able to take care of that. We're on the 2nd chapter right now, so everything's going to have to attack here that possibly can. Bone Crusher Giant going to stomp away that Woe Strider. We'll see if Mighty Linguini has a response here. It's a little awkward because she's not going to want to both sack the Mammoth to the Woe Strider now and then Village Rites the Woe Strider, but we'll see what she decides to do. Definitely some options here. Would like to fizzle that Bone Crusher Giant.
Yeah. Would be nice to do that. And it looks like that's going to be the pick.
Yes. I see Mighty Linguini with that upkeep stop set. So on top of that, drawn a couple of cards there. One of them a Shredded Sails, another copy of Wolf Strider. We've got a Rankle and a Bone Crusher and another Village Rites in hand on Mighty Linguini's side. But we'll see Embercleave here.
Big hit with the Embercleave as an 0-1 was the only thing put in front of this Lovestruck Beast. Yes. Now holding a big ol' sword.
All right. Well, Mighty Linguini will sack the Kazandu Mammoth before a Crone War can get to its 3rd chapter. Lovestruck Beast is going to die here. So the Embercleave will stay on the battlefield, but Amanda has a Soul Seer and a Bone Crusher Giant left in hand, and Linguini's got a full grip. And you'd start to wonder here which player started this game by mulliganing to 5. Rankle is the play here, and each player is going to discard a card, which means a lot more to Amanda on 2 cards than it does to Mighty Linguini. And even though it is 6 life to 17 life, it looks not great. Soul Seer perhaps being reserved for a Rankle, like maybe hoping that doesn't have to deal with the Corvolds.
Maybe can afford to discard another card as the Primal Might means nothing to you now that you have no creatures in play and no creatures in hand, but still, it's a rough spot to be in.
Yes, and we'll see the Wolf Strider being played from hand on Mighty Linguini's side as we pass the turn back. Amanda drawing a Cragcrown Pathway for the turn and a path back to Mighty Linguini, who seems to be stabilizing here as Wolf Strider gets into the red zone and brings Amanda down to 14 life. Thinking about playing a Triome here. It has a Crone War, Shredded Sails, Bone Crusher Giant, and a Wolf Strider waiting to be escaped from the graveyard. A second Cragcrown Pathway being drawn by Amanda before passing the turn back. And the Triome gets cycled, drawing an Eliminate and a Heartless Act. So Mighty Linguini, flush with backup threats, and a lot of good answers in Eliminate, a Crone War, or Heartless Act if Amanda comes out with anything. Not even bothering to Shredded Sails, the Embercleave that's sitting on the battlefield right now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, never mind.
Here we go.
Never mind.
we were just getting there. We were getting there.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose when nothing else to do, it's not a bad play, and like it seems that she has stabilized here. And Amanda having so many lands in play, it doesn't make too much sense about what she would have besides reactive spells in hand because she hasn't done anything.
Mm-hmm. So we were brazen enough to send the Stomp from the Bone Crusher Giant straight to the face to play the second side, and we're seeing one of the reactive spells from Amanda's hand now.
Soul Seer taking care of that. Questing Beast from Amanda here. Looks like that's going to resolve, and a Primal Might. Is this going to do it? Let's see.
It's not going to do it. We have both. Well, the Eliminate's not going to kill the Questing Beast, but the Heartless Act certainly can.
Yes.
That is in the hand of Mighty Linguini.
Oh, that's right. It's not counters.
Yeah.
Let's take care of that Heartless Act, that Questing Beast.
Poor Questy.
So close.
Stabilizing at 6, 4 cards in hand for the Mighty Linguini. It's hard to imagine that anything Amanda's able to draw closes this game out. We can draw a big creature to hopefully do some blocking, but it is very scary when your opponent has 4 cards in hand trying to decide what exactly is the play.
And it looks like Woe Shredder is escaping here. So a nice big blocker in case of another thing like a second Questing Beast. But Brushfire Elemental will be the draw here. And I think that is going to do it with Manda at 3 life. Can't stop both of those attackers. And this one seems to be
get
over.
in there.
Brushfire's always feeling risky. It gets eliminated. And Mighty Linguini just hasn't lost a match since week 1 of season 3. So she is going to keep going on her rampage.
Yeah, we're going to keep keeping track of how many matches occur before the Mighty Linguini is finally taken down.
It's like it's going to be like you ever see like those workplace, like it's been 200 days since we've had an accident. It's going to be like it's been how many days has it been? Like when did season 3 start? In the beginning of September? It's been like 4 months since she's lost a match.
A long time.
Somebody beat her. I mean, you're great.
Yeah, it feels like it's been years, so long since somebody has beaten the Mighty Linguini. All right. So our season 2 and season 3 champion taking down her first match of the week. Are we ready to go into our final match of the night?
The final match of the night. Get your hashtag VML trash talk ready. Oh my. Have we got a matchup for you? We have on one side Allie, Mythic Meebo, fantastic Magic player, rivals. She is great. Apparently, her and her opponent, Megan Wolf of GLHF podcast, have been prepping real hardcore for this match by playing Vintage Cube all week. So I can't really blame them, and I don't think anybody else here can either. So Vintage Cube, pretty great. But you know what else is great right now? Standard.
True.
Standard actually in a very healthy place right now. We're about to have a new set added. Everything's feeling real good. And we've got a new deck for the night. Another deck we haven't featured yet, which feels really good that we're not showing our 6th Omnath deck right now. So
man, remember when we had to do that and just only watch Omnath decks over and over again? Man, it feels like that was years ago. I don't even remember it.
I remember us going through like all the deck list submissions and being like, how many non-Omnath mirrors can we show this week? Because there is only like 3 in the entire league. So, but exactly. This is fantastic. Allie's bringing out Yori and Esper Doom. She brought the Doom Foretold deck because she thought her opponent would be on Gruul or a different aggro deck and felt like she had a good matchup there. Also has the most experience with Zest because of the MPL Rivals splits. Now, if you didn't think before that the VML was a tough field, we have rivals in our So this is definitely a field of 64 competitors, and the stakes are very, very high. Oh, and look at that. Favorite interaction in MTG. putting Splinter Twin on Deceiver Exarch. What is with everyone in these band interactions?
It's like it's just a little addicting when you play something that's just like so powerful, you know? And then you're just like, wow, I just want to do that all the time, which is also probably why she's enjoying playing Vintage Cube so much.
That
That
is
is something that you can do in Vintage Cube.
that is very, very true. We got some Vintage Cube cards in here in Skyclave Apparition and Yorian Sky
And
Nomad, right?
technically true, yes.
They are both in Vintage Cube. Is Elspeth Conquers Death in there too? I think it is.
I believe it is.
What? I think it is. So
Do not
pretty
quote me on that, but I do
fabulous.
believe it.
So we're going to be watching a few of those cards. We got some Heartless Axe in here. The removal spells are going to be very important. Eliminates and Elspeth's Nightmare and the like.
Mhm.
Because this week, Allie is facing off against Megan Wolf, who is on Winota.
Yeah,
Naya
we've named it Naya
Winota.
Winota, even though she registered it as Winota Mess. We don't think your deck is a mess. We think that your deck is beautiful and it deserves to be called beautiful.
It is a I like calling things messes because I think they're you ever hear the saying a messy room is a sign of genius? That's
Yes.
kind of like what this is.
I would
This is
tell
like
that
a
to my
beautiful
mother
mess.
all
It's
the
a
time,
hot
and
mess.
she'd be like, "No, nobody's gonna be friends with you if you have a messy room."
I'd be friends with you. Apollo, I bet you would still be friends too.
Oh, Apollo, he's the reason that my room is messy, so sometimes when you have an animal, messes are unavoidable.
Like, look at those Lotus Cobras and tell me that this deck is a mess. Those are beautiful. This
No
is a
deck with
beautiful
Lotus
deck.
Cobra is a mess to me.
We got
We
Boss
stand
Reese
Lotus Cobra in this house.
Lieutenant. Boss Reese Lieutenant, one of the best hits off of Winota. So maybe we didn't get Boss Reese himself, but we've got Boss Reese Lieutenant here.
I'm a
So
Boss Lieutenant as
probably
well.
like the second best thing. Megan's speculations for Kaldheim, the set that will be coming out. And by the way, we are sending our season 4 champion to the Kaldheim Championship weekend. Is that, as you had mentioned earlier, Tybalt is going to successfully seal that 6 sword he has his eye on and be Magic's next big baddie, at least for a while. And I think the other side of the modal green god is going to be a mana doubling enchantment. And I do believe we just got a doubling land or something today, right? No, yes, it was a doubling land with like the tree.
We also have a dragon that doubles treasure token.
So many doubles. I like it. I like it.
I'm loving anything that is mana acceleration.
Gotta just ramp. I love the ramp. We all want to play 7 drops. 2 drops are boring. Let's play 7 drops. That's why we got to cheat them into play with things like Winota and double ramp spells. So
exactly.
And back to our band interactions.
Treasure
Favorite
Cruise
attraction in Magic the Gathering. Treasure Cruise and a single blue mana.
The only not banned interaction that I think we've had named is Brainstorm and Fetch Lands.
Yeah, I would say I think you are right. I think, and Brainstorm's not even a fair Magic card, all right? So
it is really only legal in one format, so that's fair. All right, are we ready to get into our VML Trash Talk match?
I am so ready. And look, Megan does have some Vintage Cube cards of her own, like Gilded Goose.
I'm a big fan of Gilded Goose. More so a fan of Gilded Goose than I guess some other Vintage Cube cards. I love me a good turn 1 mana accelerant. I've already said that I'm a ramp stan, so if we're worried about me being biased in any way, just if there's a ramp card in a deck, I like it.
So like Lotus Cobras. That's right.
Lotus Cobra,
you
stan.
So it looks like we'll start with a Scryland on Meebo's side, passing back. And we'll see that Gilded Goose hit the battlefield on Megan's side, passing it back. We'll see a plain.
Meebo has the Kangaroo Lands. And the only other thing I love, possibly more than ramp, is APAC Lands.
Kangaroo Lands?
Yeah, it's the kangaroo. There's a little kangaroo on the plains.
Oh.
It's the Australia land. It's so cute.
I love it. I love it. Luminarch Aspirant, our first of the night. I feel like so many people have played this card in the deck, and this is the first time we've seen this card. Fortunately, it'll be very quickly taken care of by an Eliminate, so it will not have its chance
to stay on the battlefield for very long.
And a pass of the turn back. Allie is doing exactly what she would like to do here, making her land drops and drawing some more cards, buying her more time, keeping Megan off of the battlefield. We'll see Allie making her third land drop, playing Treacherous Blessing, drawing some cards, drawing another Treacherous Blessing in there, Amaria's Call, a second Dance in the Man. So we got a Yorion in hand, a Yorion in the Companion Zone, and an Omen of the Sun. And it's on Megan here. Looks like a nice hand. Thinking about playing that Kazandu Mammoth, I suppose, as a land.
I suppose as a land, because you never actually play it as a we did. People play it as a creature. Again, I get it. I know. But every time that I play it, I feel like it has to be a land and it has to be on turn 3, and I'm upset about it.
Well, it looks like Allie also opting to play the spell land as a regular land. No Amaria's Call here. We're going to play the flip side, and Gilded Goose and turn going to make a second food and pass back. We do have Kenrith and Winota in hand, besides the Mammoth and a Bone Crusher Giant. 2 lands, we got a Fable Passage and a Temple. Let's think about what Megan would like to do here. We'll only have red mana as... would be able to attack with an O2, play the Winota, and attack the
hey,
2 Goose.
We've done less for more.
That is a legal Magic play.
Yeah, the Goose does not say Defender. It can get in there. And it will not be blocked by 1/1s made by Omen of the Sun. Very important. Because it has fly. Well, I guess it wouldn't have met. Well, if you threw both of the 1/1s in front of the O2, that would be bad. So at least we get to avoid that.
So it looks like Goose is going to get in there and pass the turn back. I guess we whiffed. Did we whiff?
I guess we must have whiffed.
That was sad.
I was sad. I didn't even notice that happened. It went by so fast.
I feel deflated. I was so excited
for the Gilded Goose to attack. Goose
put their neck on the line. Was like, you know what? I'm an O2. I don't care. I'm sending a message. I'm getting into the red zone. I'm not making food this turn. I'm not cracking no foods. I'm not making any mana. I'm gonna get in there. And what do they get? Nothing. They get rewarded with nothing. That's awful. I don't know if I could do a Goose.
Yeah, that's good. No, that was perfect.
So
and then the Yorion gets to come down and the value. Value.
This is not what Megan wanted here. We want a quick game on Megan's side. A bunch of non-human creatures attacking Winota out there, bringing in a bunch of Basilisk Lieutenants and just getting this game done. Unfortunately, Allie able to get down a really good Yorion here, blinking Omen of the Sun, Treacherous Blessing, and Elspeth Conquers Death. So that Elspeth Conquers Death has taken care of most of what Megan had going. And land is the draw for turn. Looks like Kenrith in the hand. Can't even really stomp. Not there's much to stomp here. It's just too expensive this turn because of the Elspeth Conquers Death had been on chapter 2. So we're just going to play a plain old Bone Crusher Giant, play that Temple of Abandon, scry to the bottom. And that's all for this turn. Heartless Act, the draw from Allie's side, and just an embarrassment of riches here. We've got a Skyclave.
The words I was about to use.
So it's a Skyclave Apparition, another Treacherous Blessing in case she wants to draw 3 more cards.
Why not? We're still at 21, so like the life also doesn't really matter.
That's totally good. But it looks like Skyclave Apparition, the play here. Let's take care of that Bone Crusher Giant and get in for 8. Megan at 19, just with the O2 blocker. Gonna jump in front of one of those 1/1s. Keep the Goose alive. Goose is not yet cooked. Second of food, gain a little life. Back up to 15.
It's probably sweating a little bit though.
It's getting a little warm in here.
Yeah. Starting to feel the pressure.
Scavenging is a good draw. It's like a solid draw for turn. I'm not sure it's going to be enough here. It's very good against a card like Dance of the Manse, but I don't think Allie's going to need Dance of the Manse in order to win this game.
No, I think we're doing pretty good attacking with our creatures and kind of just hanging out for a little bit.
Yeah, and thinking about Heartless Act here.
What if we Heartless acted our own Yorion so that it comes back with Elspeth Conquers Death?
That may be what the considering is. Let's see what she decides to do. Heartless Act will come up. Oh, or not. Thinking about. I think she is. I think she's considering doing it.
Let's do it. Heck with it. Let's go. Anxious click.
Oh, making us all anxious. All right, here it is. Click it. Click it.
Yes.
Are you sure?
Oh, I'm sure. I'm so sure. I'm not even playing this. This isn't me, but I'm sure.
And it looks like a very nice play on Allie's side. Gonna kill that Yorion. Terrible, terrible Yorion. But
and then we're gonna get eaten.
Scavenging is gonna eat that. Elspeth Conquers Death here again, but the other Yorion is here to play.
I got so excited and I also forgot about the Scavenging Ooze. So now I just feel sad. But we have another Yorion, so it's all fine.
Yeah, right? What do we need? Honestly, maybe it was like she thought that
it was certainly all
Heartless Act was going to sit in her hand. Looks like we'll elect to blink the Skyclave Apparition, giving Megan a 3/3, which doesn't really amount to too much on this battlefield right now. Skyclave will probably come back, take care of the Scavenging Ooze. Treacherous Blessing going to draw 3 more cards. Omer the Sun going to gain some more life. A lot of stuff happening here. Before she has the opportunity, Megan's going to eat the Elspeth Conquers Death out of the graveyard. But Skyclave has targeted the Scavenging Ooze. The Omer of the Sun gains some life. Allie back up to 20. Drawn a bunch of cards. She's got to discard cards now. She's got a nice full grip. No need for both of those lands. So looks like Fable Passage to the bin. And both players still at rather high life totals. We got Allie at 20, Megan at 16. Kenrith is going to come down here with enough mana open to be able to activate a couple of the different modes on it.
The most important mode is drawing a card. Oh,
yes.
Or we can give haste, sure.
Oh, it looks like haste and trample for all creatures. So that includes Yorion and Skyclave Apparition, but which I always thought was very funny. You can give it to all creatures. Just everything on the battlefield gets
it.
Yeah,
why not? You can have trample and you can have haste and another Oprah Winfrey moment.
Yes. Leaving up, and it is 1 and a green to put a +1/+1 counter on a creature. Allie anticipating that, putting a bunch of blockers in front of Kenrith and still trading the Yorion and a couple of tokens to take Kenrith down. Elspeth's Nightmare going to be the follow-up play. Going to attempt to take care of the Gilded Goose here. That's going to happen. Megan's empty-handed right now, so she's just got the token and 1 food in play. And
man, where are Doom Fortolds?
Yeah, right? Allie keeps drawing cards, but she's been able to maintain that fairly high life total, staying at 18. You're going to discard.
We do have 80 cards in our deck, so that could be why we can't find a Doom Foretold. It just feels like every time that I play against a Doom Foretold player, they never struggle to find the card that they need, even though they're playing 80 cards.
Yes, and it looks like Heartless Act will be scried to the top with an Omen of the Sea and drawn as well. Elspeth's Nightmare will take a looky-loo at Megan's hand. It reveals simply a plains Heartless Act going to take care of the token here, the illusion, and right? Illusion? Spirit?
Illusion? I think it's an illusion.
I think it is an illusion. I said it and then it didn't sound right, so I got scared.
It is an illusion.
Okay, wonderful. But Megan's going to be down to 9. So even though, Bone Crusher Giant trying to stomp out the Skyclave Apparition, that will happen. Scavenging Ooze will be exiled forever, but a 2/2 illusion will come down here. Bone Crusher Giant hits the battlefield. Might as well play the land since Allie already knows about it. Bone Crusher Giant, one of the better draws that Megan could hope for since it is 2 spells in 1.
Sacking Omen of the Sun here on Allie's side. Going to bottom the Omen of the Sea and the Omen of the Sun that are both on top.
We want a Doom Foretold.
Yes, we do.
We want Doom.
2 damage per spell isn't much, but when you're taking it every time and you have no way to stop it, it can get pretty painful. And there it is. There it is. It only took a few scries, but we got there. So Doom Foretold sitting on top of Allie's deck. I'm sure Megan wasn't happy to see that top bottom scry there, because that means I found it. So Elspeth's Nightmare will take care of Megan's graveyard here as Allie draws the Doom Foretold, which will hit the battlefield. Not much to think about there. Taking a couple of damage. Allie's still up pretty high at 12 life. Not needing to worry about too much since Megan is empty-handed with a Bone Crusher Giant and the illusion that is no more. So this Doom Foretold means that Megan will have to sacrifice that Bone Crusher Giant as the 4 tokens get across, taking Megan down to 5, back up to 8 off the food. But bye-bye, Bone Crusher. Hello again, Bone Crusher.
Goodbye, hello.
So it looks like Bone Crusher, the draw here, gonna go face, because there's no way stomping out a 1/1 is going to help Megan win this game.
Gonna look at the hand that does not exist.
Temple of Silence going to bottom scry a Temple of Enlightenment. And taking a look at the graveyard, what is there to get back? Only taking 1 damage for every spell now. Elspeth Conquers Death going to come in, take care of that Bone Crusher Giant. Megan going to drop down to 4. Then again to 2 because of the Doom Foretold, and Lotus Cobra ramping. Not exactly what we were looking for here. So we are going to move on to game 2. Let's take a look at Allie's sideboard here. We got 2 Cling to Dust, 2 Heliod's Intervention, 2 Negate, 4 Mystical Dispute, 4 Extinction Event. Very straightforward sideboard. So,
quite. Both of these players actually have what seems to be kind of a very straightforward sideboard. Interesting to see that I don't even think that there's a ton that I want from Allie's sideboard. I see that she's changing about what it looks like is 3 cards and not a whole lot else. The Extinction Event's obviously very good against a big creature deck. Taking out things like the Treacherous Blessing as losing life, not so good against the aggro deck. So we're going to move some of those cards around, but overall not really changing much considering that we have an 80 card deck and we like what it does against the creature deck that Megan is playing. And let's see, Megan is shaving the gooses out of the deck, taking out the Bone Crusher Giants. Yeah, they just, if your opponent isn't playing a ton of creatures and they're tokens that don't matter, you don't really care about Stomp. You might as well have some things like the Wilts are going to do wonders against Allie's deck, I'd imagine. So it seems like a good call to be making. And there is a Wilt in our opening hand.
And, oh, that's great. That is great. Megan has, for the most part, has her colors here. Some flexibility. So this is where a lot of decision will come into play to have 2 of the 2-sided lands here. So it looks like we're going to start with a green from Megan, wanting to get down maybe the Lotus Cobra or make sure that she can cast Wilt later. So looks like we're going to opt with the white side here. So that cards like Luminarch Aspirant can be played. And a Mountain the Draw for turn.
Oh,
why not?
Yeah, the phrase is, I believe, never didn't have it.
Yes, total perfection. So,
ooh, let's throw down. Oh, I'm excited to throw down, but I imagine you have to be a little bit frightened of something like a Heartless Act, perhaps, out of Allie's deck. But we're gonna go ahead and toss down the Renota anyway. Fight Snake.
Yeah, it looks like oh, there we go. Boss Resource Cannon. That's what we were looking for. Making the Winota a little bit bigger. I think she was considering playing that Broodmoth over Winota, but I'm sure now she is happy she did not. Elspeth Nightmare going to come down, take care of that Lotus Cobra, and a pass of the turn back. Selfless Savior pretty good draw here to be able to protect your Winota, among other things.
Yeah, we also do have the Luminous Broodmoth in hand, and we saw in an earlier match tonight the very powerful combination of Selfless Savior and Luminous Broodmoth. Ooh,
Looks like cycling Wilt, wanting to make those land drops that are very important in this matchup. So I can absolutely see that. Luminous.
Yeah.
Luminarch Aspirant coming down, making that Basri's Lieutenant a bit bigger. No Winota triggers this time around. That's okay. So Elspeth's Nightmare not hitting anything. We got a Skyclave Apparition, a Broodmoth, and a Selfless Saver all in Megan's hand. Now Allie does know about all
Just
of
a
them.
lot of creatures on our side, eh?
Yes. And it seems Allie's hand a little clunky here. Couple of Elspeth Conquers Death, still a good another turn after this one away of casting that at 6 life. Not much she can do. So we're going to go on to game 3.
All right, so we did also see oh, the Archon of Sun's Graces are main. Okay, I was going to say that the Archon of Sun's Graces came in, but nope, they're main deck. Just when you're playing so many cards, it's hard for me to fully take in all of the 80 card decks sometimes.
Oh gosh, thinking about bringing a Cling here. It looks like shaved a Dance of the Manse and the Heliod's Interventions.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, those are in the
Those
side.
Still stayed out.
She was thinking about it.
No, the Treacherous Blessings.
She was thinking about bringing them in. Yeah.
Yeah. Gaining life, probably not the worst against a very aggressive deck.
No, especially if you have cards that you definitely don't want in your deck, like you said before, the Treacherous Blessings or the Dance of the Manse. Those are normally decks that aren't attacking you, and Dance of the Manse is for matches that you expect or want to go longer. So
yeah.
And then on Megan's side here, her sideboard, we've got 3 Giant Killer, 4 Wilt, 3 Skyclave Apparition, 3 Crone War, and 2 Elder Gargaroth. Gargarth.
It looks like we brought in 3 Wilts, not all 4, and that was pretty much it. We shaved the Gooses and the Bone Crusher Giants. Oh, so we brought something else in. Perhaps we also brought in the Gargaroths and maybe a Skyclave Apparition, as it is able to exile non-land permanents.
I think so. Now we have Allie on the play, starting on 5 cards. Megan able to keep 7. First play will be a Selfless Savior, and that's exactly what Megan wants to do here. Get back out onto the battlefield quickly. From Allie's side, we just see a land and a pass of the turn. No black mana, but an Omen of the Sea can quickly regain some card advantage here. Lotus Cobra will be the play on Megan's side. Selfless Savior getting in for 1. And we'll see it connect. Down to 19 on Allie's side. Here's that Omen of the Sea. Let's take a look at the top 2 cards. Elspeth's Nightmare. That's a good one. Definitely need that land, though. So we're going to draw the Swamp, and then we will draw the Elspeth's Nightmare for turn. Swamp comes down. Elspeth's Nightmare to follow. Got to take care of that Lotus Cobra.
Unless Savior is going to
that was a nice little inflection. It's just like, killing your Lotus Cobra? Nah, you can't kill my Lotus Cobra. So,
Cobra.
So we're going to see Snake all alone on the battlefield now. Mm-hmm. Megan deciding what land to play here. We're going to see a Wilt taking care of that Elspeth's Nightmare, wanting to protect the hand, especially that Vivian, that
Monsters Advocate. Yes. As we were able to, certainly play it next turn with the ramp offered from Lotus Cobra, it seems like a smart decision to protect it.
I like it. And Allie, able to make her 4th land drop here, now has the option of Archon of Sun's Grace, also has a Urian in hand, so only 1 land away from casting that, and an Eliminate to take care of any other pesky problems like Lotus Cobra. So, but it looks like Archon will be the play here. Kind of clogs up the battlefield from Lotus Cobra being able to get in there. Megan draws a Skyclave Apparition for turn.
Apparition going to be able to do some nice work to this Archon of Sun's Grace that previously could have been scary, even though Ali doesn't have any enchantments in hand at the time of casting the Archon of Sun's Grace. Most of the deck is playing quite a few of those enchantments that would make some extra creatures on the side of Ali, so using the apparition to get rid of it.
It's a nice, clean answer.
Nice, clean answer that came at the right time.
Yes. Now, this Omen of the Sea is interesting. We see a Heartless Act and a Maria's Call on the top. And we know that Ali wants to make her land drops, but she also needs to keep the battlefield under control, sort of anticipating a Winota at any moment here. So decides to leave the Heartless Act on top to draw and the Maria's Call still on top of the deck so that she doesn't miss her land drops. We see the Fabled Passage come into play, Lotus Cobra making a mana off of that, and Vivian, Monster's Advocate, is here.
And all of a sudden, you're afraid of Winota for one moment, but then this other threat from a deck is all of a sudden very scary.
Yes, and we'll see a 3/3 beast token come into play here. Fabled Passage going to crack. Looks like we're going to get a forest.
Ooh, make a white mana to cast this Selfless Savior off the top of our deck using the passive from Vivian Monster's Advocate.
Very, very nice. So a Selfless Savior coming into play. And we've got a Gargaroth on top of the deck waiting for next turn, which would be very nice with Vivian's minus getting a Winota. But it looks like Eliminate is going to take care of that Skyclave Apparition so that Ali can get a 4/4 on the defensive here. A Maria's Call that we knew was on top of the deck will be the draw for turn. And that 4/4 is going to get in. Try to attack that Vivian down. We'll see what Megan decides to do here. It looks like a double block. Done with Cobra. No more Cobra. We don't need ramping. We're at our 5 lands. We're good. So we'll trade both the Cobra and the token. And Yorion will come down. We'll blink both of those Omen of the Seas. So we're going to get some scries and some draws here. Try to replenish the hand a little bit. A Doom Foretold and a land. And looks like Ali's considering taking both, but we're going to stick with just drawing the Doom Foretold off of that, and we're going to take another look at a Maria's Call and a Temple of Enlightenment. The Temple will go to the bottom. Maria's Call will stay on top to draw, and it is Megan's go. Drawing that Gargaroth. Selfless Savior, another one on top of the deck. Looks like we're going to, nope, not gonna minus on Vivian, just gonna play the Elder Gargaroth and make a 3/3. I mean, Elder Gargaroth does have reach, so that Yorion a little less scary. Unfortunately, Megan does not know about the Heartless Act that Ali has in hand here. Now, Ali has a decision to make.
Yeah.
She's at 12 life. What do you think the play is here?
So this is hard. We're also noticing that Megan, deck lists are open. So Megan is able to look at Ali's deck and see, normally the Esper Doom Foretold decks are playing things like Shatter the Sky or Board Clears. Ali is not playing any Shatter the Sky. Megan knows that no matter how much she commits to the board, there's never going to be a really big board wipe that's going to come in her way. So committing lots of creatures to the board instead of doing some other things is going to be very helpful. We've seen that Ali has chosen to do the Doom Foretold. Slowly, just like picking away at the creatures is going to be a good way to hopefully stave away some of the aggression coming out of Megan's deck. And it's a good use of the 4 mana and the 2 mana for this Heartless Act.
Oh, I like that thinking a lot. We see a Boster's Lieutenant come out of Megan's hand here. We just have a land on top of the deck, and Megan's going to choose to draw it. And in response to that, Ali is going to attempt to Heartless Act the Gargaroth. Selfless Savior going to sack itself to try to save the Gargaroth. That will work. And Megan will get across, bringing Ali down to 3 life. Megan now has the land on top of, Megan drew the land on top of her deck. Now has a Kazandu Mammoth, everyone's favorite. And Archon of Sun Grace will be Ali's draw here. Skyclave Apparition as well only able to do one this turn. Going to add the Yorian from the companion zone to hand. Trying to build up some sort of defense
Oh.
here, but I don't.
No, this was a great call from Allie, leaving the decision of do you want to keep the Gargaroth or do you want to keep Vivian? You can only have one of these, as the others are tokens, and Doom Foretold does not care about tokens. And
Yes.
pressuring into a decision, but Allie is gonna call it good.
Yes, unfortunately, at 3 life, 3 lethal attackers, only 2 blockers, Megan is going to take it down. So that was quite a turn of events there.
Some intense magic being played for sure. Very hard fought on the side of both players. The Winota deck kind of being held on its legs by a Vivian and not a Winota at the end there, and overrunning the strategy of Esper Doom Foretold.
Oh, that was definitely a very impressive showing. And especially with, I mean, what did we see? A Winota whiff? And, like Winota doesn't deserve to be the namesake.
Yeah, just change it to Naya Vivian. It's
No,
fine.
Right? That's all. That's all we need. That's all.
It's not like the deck is built around Winota or anything.
Well, yes, that was good games. Thank you to all of our feature match players tonight. They all did fabulous. Thank you all for being here on our season 4 debut. This was wonderful. It was fabulous. We are so excited to be kicking off our next season with you. We are so excited to be sending somebody else to the Kaldheim championship weekend. And I say someone else, Mighty Linguini. Keep sending the same person. They're like, is there more than one person in this tournament? Like, who else plays in the VML that we keep seeing you? But really, a big thank you again to Nerd Rage Gaming. If you don't follow them yet on Twitter, what are you doing? Follow them at NRG Series on Twitter. They are phenomenal. They are the reason that season 4 is happening. They are giving us so much support. We're stealing their judge from them and everything. So a big shout out to NRG. A big thank you for working with us and making this all possible. We are thrilled to be working with you. And again, thank you to Wizards for the Kaldheim Championship weekend invite. Thank you to Channel Fireball for the prize support. We are playing for a cash prize pool besides the invite to the championship. So all that is great. All that is fantastic. As always, a big up to our producer, Phoebe, who works their butt off every week, honestly, every day. So always in chat be like, hey, Phoebe, help. The slides, what's the run order tonight? But always an all-star. So Phoebe, big shout out to you. And again, if you didn't hear earlier, a warm welcome to our newest casters, Sky Bills and Elia the Veil. There they are. Aren't they lovely? Aren't we all lovely?
A really beautiful group of casters.
It is. We are a fabulous bunch of folks. We really are.
Oh, definitely super modest, extremely modest.
Super modest.
So
So happy to have Hi You Caroline back again. I'm excited to be working alongside you again and Becky and having Sky Bills and Ellie onto the team. It's great to see so much growth in the VML league. VML, I guess that's the Vernice and Mercury League. So
it's like ATM machine, I get it. I mess up with that one all the time.
But really, thank each and every one of you for being here. Thank you for your support. If you haven't yet, make sure you're following us here on Twitch, Aspirant CCG, twitch.tv/Aspirant CCG. Follow us. The broadcast gets posted on YouTube. And make sure you're following us on Twitter for all the latest updates and everything that's going on, all things VML. If you want to play, make sure you reach out to us. We would love to have you. The VML, for those of you who have missed it, is to showcase the talents of people of marginalized genders within the Magic community. And we would love to have you. So thank you for being here. Thank you for kicking off season 4 with us. I am Nicole Callahan, also known as Lady of the Crease, as always joined here by the fabulous Becky Bell, known as Becky Bear on Twitter. Give us both a follow. Why not?
But love it. We'd love to see you on our Twitter as well. We'd love to see you here and following Nerd Rage series as well. But we'd also love for you to follow us. But Again, humble as always, you know.
Yes, as always. And as always, check us out every Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Be here. I know I will.
We all
Good night,
will.
everyone.
I'll see you next week.
See you next week.